Good evening, Super League, and I have missed you. Hopefully, nowhere near half as much as you've missed me. It's been a bit of a rough 2 weeks with COVID. Thanks for everyone for dropping us some well wishes and all that kind of jazz. Delighted to say that joining me tonight, I think it's the first time ever that I've streamed, and this particular guest has been with me. He's an absolute legend amongst the Super League community and one of the nicest blokes you'll ever meet. It's Mr. Alf Bredge. How you doing, lad? You all right?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
Good, lad. Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. Good evening to Ross. Good evening to Tato and Rob and Edwards and Stee and Hopkins and all the regulars are in tonight. Alf, how you doing, mate? I understand you've been doing a little bit of scouting today.
Yeah, I went to a FA Youth Cup match at Oldham. They played Fylde. They did lose, but I did spot one young lad of promise in the Oldham team. Right winger called Alfie Atherton. And I've been on with the Oldham manager today, the caretaker manager, Steve Thompson, suggested this lad should train with the first team because I think he's got real potential. So,
Brilliant.
See what happens there.
Brilliant. And in a league full of people who think they know what they're talking about, Alf, it's interesting that actually you do have some clout, mate. So never back down, mate, because we're all idiots and you've actually got some real world experience. So let's have a little look at tonight. Anything sticking out for you there, Alf, in the old fixture slate?
The opening fixture's quite nice. East Coast Badgers. That's a close one, isn't it? Aggies and Vikings. I've seen these games turn around, and he's in form, is Jens, so that could be a turn-up.
Yeah, I do think there's some good ones standing out tonight. I think. Anything else for you, Alf?
There's some close matches all around, isn't there? Really, and there could be one or two turn-ups, I think.
Yeah, I think what I'd probably say is I think Haggis, Fulchester and Northern Burn have been the absolute standout in the league this season, and absolutely deserve to be kind of slogging it out for those top three positions. I do think though, and I might get some pelters from this, but I do think that everybody below Northern Burn is probably more unhappy with their season than happy, and actually, the fact that Santos, Sancte, Vikings and Exiles and Stackington and even Dudley. Look at Dudley on the march. One win tonight and they're within 2 points of the dotted line, having only won a couple of games all season. So I think credit to Haggis, Fulchester and Northern Burn, but actually I think everybody else below that dotted line is probably more unhappy with their season than happy. So we will get going tonight with an absolute slobber knocker. And we will start with Dimble's East Coast Cosmos, who have been very good for a very long time, and then actually have just had a little bit of a kind of dip in form, really. 2 defeats in the last 3, and Dimble probably for the first time in a while kind of scratching for a side that will really click. And this is how he goes, this kind of familiar East Coast formation that we've seen. Cambiasso and Zielius looking really dominant in DMC, especially with Ferguson Kuhl and Simkoviak, probably the best kind of individual midfield 3 across the middle, I think. Alf, what do you think of this Cosmos side?
Yeah, that's a standard formation. It's a good-looking team, actually. But as you say, they've hit with a dip, haven't they? So sometimes you can put great teams out and not get the results. So, but it does look good.
If there was one player from this Cosmos side that you'd like in your Sloth side, Alf, who would it be?
Well, I like Stam. I've never had Kuhl, and I think I would like him actually to have a go at him. Yeah.
I've never had him in the Super League, and interestingly, I got rid of him straight away.
Did you? Yeah.
Regret that probably. Let's go back over to Dimble, who is playing the Badger Boys. Tato in the chat saying he's happy with his side. Undefeated in a fair while now since Haggis beat him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games ago. I think that's the second longest unbeaten run in the league so far this season. This is how he goes. Compared to last match, there is one change for the suspended Desai. Battaglia comes into DMC. Any thoughts on this Badger side?
No, that's that's a strong formation, strong lineup. So it could be a close game, though. Even though Badgers are in form and East Coast are not, I think it'll still be a close game. This one.
Alf, you're a man renowned for your predictions when you're on stream. Can I ask you for one here, and can we keep track of how you get on?
I'll go for draw, 1-1.
Score draw from the Alf computer. Kuhl with a chance early doors. Alf talked him up. 15 minutes gone, and Cosmos have got the better of the play. Barry Ferguson making a little bit of trouble there for the keeper, backed up by Carlos Shacks. Badgers now coming into the game. 20 minutes played, a hell of a lot happening for it still to be 0-0. Feels like there's a lot of text. Giggs getting involved there. Clivert offside. We know that Tato is probably running out of a bit of patience with Clivert. He really hasn't done it this season. And again, another chance for Clivert, but there's an inch-perfect tackle from Barry Ferguson. Nicky Ferenko with a header. Agahawa, Rossini a little bit offside there. Forward runs from the Badgers causing all sorts of problems for the linesman's flag, as well as East Coast Cosmos. Cosmos coming back into it just before the half-time, but we do get a half-time 0-0. That probably reflects the first 35, 38 minutes, Alf, and that probably reflects the last 10 minutes of the half, I think. What do you think?
I see East Coast are very good in the air, so I'm not sure who's up front for him. Is it somebody?
Pizarro and Yardell, 2 big guys.
Yeah. So there could be a goal from across, perhaps.
And then over to the Badger Boys. Damien Zanoni carrying a 5 in at half time is one of those 3 DMCs. Not a lot of the ball for Badgers, interestingly enough, although that last 10 minutes they were trying to pile the pressures on. And Clivert with just the one shot, but actually you'd expect that if we kind of struggled along, not much happening there actually. Yeah, some runs from Clivert, 4 offside 4 times. Felt like that in the text, and we'll just see. What would you be doing if you were Dimble? Because Tato's already came in with an as is. So what would you be doing if you were Dimble, Alf?
Nothing. I think I'll leave about 60.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree. I haven't seen Dimble in the chat so far tonight. And I'm just going to check your WhatsApp to see if he dropped in any instructions. Yeah, nothing from Dimble. I'm just going to give him a couple of more seconds. Alf, who will finish higher out of these 2 teams, do you think, this season? They're more or less level pegging, kind of 3 points separate them, but a very, very similar kind of record in terms of games. Who do you think's finishing higher this season?
It's hard to say, really. They could finish very close together within a point or 2 of each other. It's hard to say.
And on that note, we will go to 60 minutes. Haven't seen anything from Dimble. And obviously the earlier kickoff, and Rossini does pop in there with the goal to put Badgers 1-0 up. Tato said he'd take a draw, but that is looking a little bit better than a draw, especially as they rode some pressure. 56 minutes, 57 minutes. Clivert now really coming into the game. Can Cosmos get themselves back in before the 60-minute mark? Big save from Toldo. I think we get a 61 minutes. Jacques Iluliano and Simkoviak can't find the back of the net with a chance. Toldo keeping Badgers in the game here. You'd expect those chances for East Coast to have went up to at least double figures from the 7 at half time. Agahawa really not doing anything. I'm guessing he's going to be hooked for extra Berea in just a second, or maybe Zauri. In terms of condition, Tato doesn't believe in it, but just for reference, we'll pull that up. You 1-0 up, your Badgers, you look fairly solid. Toldo's keeping you in the game though, Alf. Are you changing anything?
He's probably looking at Zanoni, but being 1 up, he might just leave it as it is.
Yeah, he might just leave it as is. And over to Cosmos, who actually have got a couple of 8s there at the back, but do find themselves 1-0 behind. Those front 3 all on 6s, not really doing anything for them. And in terms of condition, some 80-odd%. Yeah, we do have a change from Tato. He is 1-0 up, but he does make a change. Agahawa off for Zauri. We thought that might have been coming. And that's all thanks. Strange performance from Zanoni. Just the one change, though, thanks from Tato. Jens is in the house. Jens, I think I've got you down for second game, I think. Just check the tick out along the bottom. Yes, I have, mate. I've got you second game just to try and get it done. I'm just going to give Dimble a couple of more seconds. It's not like him to miss a complete game, but the early kickoff might have thrown him. I would imagine if he was here, he'd be probably putting on Stanic maybe for Jacques, or Romeo for one of the 2 up top. Let us just check that he hasn't said to me, use your judgment if I kind of get on. Yeah, he hasn't said us anything. You can't see anything there from Dimble Alf, can you, in the chat? Can you see the chat or?
No.
All right, Tato, being the gentleman, he says, I'm happy for you to do that. I think because of the early kick-off, I am going to go Stanic for Jacques, because I do know he likes them. And then I'm going to go just do the change. It's fair. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. And then Romeo for Yardell, I think that's what Dimble would have done if he was here. So we'll give him half a chance, I think. And I'll take the flag. If not, Nicky Ferenko hits the post. Stanic with a book in early doors there, putting himself about. Terrible effort from Ferguson. 2 minutes of added time. There is Barry Ferguson. Kulis crosses it in, and Ferguson, with more or less the last interaction of the game, rescues a point, although Cosmos, bar the goal for Badgers, did look in control for much of that text. Any thoughts there at full time, Alf?
Yeah, correct result. What else did I get for that?
Yeah, 10 points for a correct result, isn't it? Esteban Cambioso with a man of match performance there, although nothing massively standing out in terms of that. You'd think Iluliano is probably deserving of the man of the match, although the booking may have stopped him from getting that. So mates turned to 9s at that second half. Bit of a strange game that. Badgers looked in control when they went 1-0 up, and then Cosmos kind of pulled it back at the end. Battaglia missing 8 of 18 tackles isn't particularly great when you need him to be in that central DMC position as the other 2 pass on. That's a really good game to start with that tonight. And Alf, we're going over to the Haggis boys and just talk us through what your thoughts are on this Haggis side, who have been good for about a half of the season, and then very, very good for about the second half of this first half of the season. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the Haggis consortium have done very well, we must say. I'm not sure how many's in the consortium at the moment. Is it 2, 3, 4? But they're certainly...
there's 3 at the minute until they win the league, and then it'll be all Campbell.
Yeah. No, you can't argue with that. That's very impressive.
7 undefeated, and a defeat coming against Northern Burn. And outside of that, they've only got 2 defeats all season. It's almost as if poetry is in motion. Ibrahim Saeed comes in for debut. They play the Vikings, who are on a bit of a rough patch. They got beat to Sanctail on Thursday night after putting away Los Santos 5-0, and then after that, kind of without a win in 3. So 1 win and 5 for the Vikings. And this is how Jens goes tonight. He's called it the Wall, whether it'll be the Great Wall of China, Pink Floyd's The Wall, or one of polystyrene. What do you kind of make of this, Alf?
That's a very strange one for Jens. I'm not sure he's done that one before at all. But sometimes these things work. The Wall.
You're definitely a man that likes to kind of be experimental and change it up, as we'll see later on. So, what's your score prediction here, Alf?
This formation just might do something, but I'll still go for Haggis and Haggis win by 2.
Haggis win by 2. You'd think maybe the logic behind that Vikings formation is to kind of sit in and try and counter-attack, because Haggis do like a good chunk of the ball and the possession in the games that they play, especially at home. 20 minutes played, and now they're drawing a fine save from the keeper, Petkov, who's been very, very good as one of those 3 DMCs. Not many people would have had him in there as the standout DMC at the start of the season, but he's been very, very good. Brozek with a header from Cafu, fine save from the keeper, and we get to half-time. And actually, Vikings more than held their own there first half, Alf.
Yeah, they did. That's they haven't sussed out this formation, Haggis, it seems. So, keep it up, Jens. Doing well.
Yeah, again, not much of the ball, but creating a decent couple of chances, and Brozek from that AMC position finding the opportunities against what is a genuine wall from those Haggis 3 DMCs. Over at the Haggis boys tonight, which I haven't seen any of them in the chat, by the way, and they were aware it was an 8 o'clock kickoff despite them not being in the main threads. We've got their front 3 of Guy Helm, Ruud van Nistelrooy, and Marco Del Vecchio on 6s, which probably tells you that the wall of the Vikings is doing a bit to kind of restrict them to anything. Jens goes as is. I'll give Haggis just a couple of more seconds, as I did for Dimble. What would you be doing here if you were the Haggis boys, Alf?
Nothing. I'd carry on again till 60, because he's quite capable of getting a goal before 60.
Yeah, you think with the form, even though you've not got Vieri in there, but with the form of Ruud and Vieri, and Ruud's yet to have a shot, you'd expect them to kind of do something. I am going to go to 60 because that's a good kind of 2 minutes since the half-time mark, and we'll see how they get on. A little bit more black and light blue. Another booking, I think that was Petkov that time. It jumps to 68 minutes, and there is Robert Pires, who has been really, really good for Haggis, and actually really, really good for Vikings, for Greavesy rather, since he brought him in for what was his team? The Pirates. What was his team? Tortuga at the back end of the last iteration, and obviously won that star. Robert Pires put the Haggis boys 1-0 up. Over at the Vikings, couple of 7s, 6s, yellow cards. The kind of nitty-gritty players doing their bit, Alf, but just haven't seen enough of Anelka.
No, but I don't think I'd change much, really. I did mention, I think, that I thought Haggis would score before the 60. That's why I wouldn't change anything. So
maybe Sojinski for Thierry Henry and go 2 up top, maybe. Jens has got a good track record of changing to 2 up top with the 1 AMC behind.
Yeah, he needs that goal, doesn't he? All right, the wall is doing its job, really. It's been breached once, but I think he does need perhaps to do as you suggest there.
Yeah, and we'll just wait to see what Jens is going to do. Just in the meantime, just in case the Haggis boys are lurking, we'll just show their formation again. Ibrahim Saeed, how's he doing on debut with a 7? Be interested to see how many tackles he's put about at a full-time whistle. Haven't seen anything from Jens. He's got a poorly little boy at the moment, so I am going to give him just a couple of more seconds. Because it may well be a big one, plus the bear not being well. So we'll see how Oldham doing this season, Alf.
Well, they were doing awful under David Unsworth, sacked him.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the caretaker manager now, Steve Thompson, nice guy. I know Steve. But he's only caretaker manager. Played 6 games, unbeaten, but they've not been playing that well. Performances have not been good, but been getting some results.
I know Jens is there, Tato, mate. I was just saying, I didn't know if like mid-spew he would have had to dip to the toilet or whatever. Sorrow off run, remove Henry up front, delete the arrow on Petit, and we roll to 60 with no presence from the Haggis boys. Brozek in there, Henry with a volley just goes over the bar. We will, I think, slow this down and see if anything will happen. Brozek has had 3 headers, hasn't put one of them away, and they're late in the game. Brozek has been a standout man for Vikings this game, and actually has rescued a point from the jaws of defeat. And do you know what? To be fair to Jens, the wall did its job. I can't remember the last game where Haggis created so little, to be fair. And that is, a take it and run. And again, Tato points out that Vikings have been class since the changes. And like I said, Jens has got a really good record going to that 1 AMC with 2 up top. Cafu with a man of the match performance and an assist and a 9. And Pavel Brozek, every time his name was in the text, Alf, he looked as though he was going to threaten.
He did, yeah. He's a sort of guy I'd like as well. Yeah. But that was as you suggested, that change after 60 was the right thing to do. And again,
absolutely 2 draws on the bounce. I think Thursday night saw no both teams to score. Maybe tonight we see no teams to win. We're going to go over to Los Santos next for Los Santos against Stackington. And this is how the Los Santos Kings go tonight. They've got a whole host of debuts. They've got Rivaldo, Walker, and Paolo Maldini making their debut. And that was a 3-4 with Foss Road for Melito, Raul, and Radoslav Koluzhny. Los Santos have struggled to score for a while now. And outside of that, have really, really struggled. And Hodgie's kind of, not ducked from that at all and has kind of really took it on the chin. This is how they go tonight, Alf. Where's it went wrong for Los Santos this season?
I think he changed his tactics. He said defensive. I'm not sure if that's what he actually did. But he did change the defensive. And that was didn't turn out well. But they just not been scoring, have they? So he's due a goal, isn't he?
He's due a couple. And talking to teams who struggle to score, up until recently, Stackington were one of those teams that struggle to score. Yeah. This is how Horse goes tonight with just the one change, with Casillas coming in for a bench debut. Having came from Stanley rather, for Westerveld. Horse just saying that Maldini was a colossus. Yeah, Maldini, I think, is scarily good season 1. He was unreal for Dudley in that title-winning season. Cheers, Dimble, mate. I appreciate that, but always a bit dodgy when you try and make changes for someone. And this is how they go tonight. Alf, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Stackington beat Sloss last time out, and that was really disappointing for us, that one, which has prompted our change tonight. So, it could be close, this one. 1-0 highway.
And 1-0 either way, says Alf Bridge, and we kick off. You'd think that Horse would be looking at this, given how poor Los Santos have been, as a chance to put back-to-back wins together this season, which would be something I think you'd relish. Who's that injured? Vogel is injured, and I have seen Hodgie floating about in the chat. I am guessing, Hodgie, that it's probably going to be Nakata and drop Walker back. Walker can play DMC, but you might want to go the kind of Burn Trident. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to decide. I think you'd probably lean towards the 2 MCs and the 1 DMC the more I'm looking at it, to be fair. Alf, what do you reckon?
Vogel's a big miss. He's one of my favourite players. I've had him in many teams of mine, and that's a big miss, I think. Might cause him to concede a goal.
Hodgie, if you can just confirm. Savage is saying stream gone. If everybody can just let me know the stream's all right, then that'd be great. I'll just give it 2 seconds. Oh, just Savage. Right. Walker DMC, Nakata MC. Thank you very much, Hodgie. That was really, really swift. Appreciate that, bud. Ambrosini with a chance. He is good for a goal every now and again. He can. Oh, and there's Rivaldo out of absolutely nowhere on his debut for Los Santos Kings. Somebody sprung the offside trap there and could have been 2-0 up. Stackington out of nowhere. Dyer scores. What a game this is turning into. Injury, both teams to score. Could this be another 1-1 tonight? Half time, Los Santos Kings didn't look as though they created much, but I just want to jump over. Barthez injury. There we go. All right, it's a knockdown and a goal. It seemed to come from absolutely nowhere there. Dyer one definitely did. Quick free kick in from Mendieta. Mendieta assist, and we get a goal from Kieran Dyer. He doesn't score many goals. He's more of an assist machine. Over to Los Santos Kings. Anything standing out for you there, Ralph?
It's a solid display, isn't it? Really, that. Yeah. They're all
nothing much of note, mate. I think you've summed it up perfectly there.
Yeah.
And over to Stackington, it's more or less the same. These are two sides that have been struggling. So this probably was how this first half was gonna pan out. Maybe. I don't think Horse will make any changes. I think they looked very, very good until the Santos scored. To be fair, and then the equaliser came as quick as came out of the blue. As much as they want to put them up. Stage of the season though, where draws aren't good enough for these sides. Down the bottom third of the table, you want to be going for the jugular and get them wins.
Yeah. It could be. It's still got one goal either way in this one. Yeah, still think it's going to go that way.
Hodgie pushes Shevchenko on, Rivaldo in there with no arrow. Horse goes as is until 60. And it is Stackington who have the chance with Mendieta very, very quickly after half time. Can Los Santos Kings hit back out of nowhere again? Vasiliuk, another injury again to another midfielder. I am going to anticipate that it's Tato just saying it's about time we did our annual Shevchenko for Clive swap deal, isn't it, Hodgie? Yeah, it's class. Cleavesy was saying about people signing the same players, actually doing the same deals between the same managers would be another level of madness. Ambrosini's injured. You probably think it's going to be Milewski here, Alf?
Probably will be, yeah. Ambrosini's another favourite of mine, and he could be a big miss.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the two. It's either Milewski or Romoshenko. I think Milewski is just a little bit better at this stage of the save, I think. And we will get to 60. Go to 58 minutes. There is a booking for Walker. Someone tried to chip Barthez but couldn't quite do it. What we'll do is we will show Horse his condition because he's just kind of seen his 11 there. And we'll see if the away side are going to go in search of this victory. We've got some, Mendieta does feel as though he's pulling the strings a little bit. Amoroso on an 8, but not really being mentioned in the text. It'll be interesting to see if he can do anything there. And we go over to the Los Santos boys. Push on the wing backs here, Ralph, do you reckon?
No, I'd leave it.
You'd leave it as is, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. It's points any draws, or rather, at point, any good for these two teams at this stage of the season?
I think they wouldn't be too disappointed. We're only halfway through, aren't we, really? So, no, they wouldn't be too disappointed with a point each.
Vlahovic off for Zan and switch with Amoroso. Casterman for Agat. And there we are, almost on cue. His team haven't managed to win for the first time in absolute ages after having been absolutely class. And rather than just saying, well done, Jens, good games, he levels it at people having a life outside a champ. There's a running along the bottom of the table, mate, and you were notified at 12 o'clock what the start time was, and you've got 3 managers. Get fucked. It's 1-1, and this is how we go to the full time. Amoroso, Barthez can't catch it. Crossbar from Lizarazu. Stackington with a corner. Maldini. This is turning in to a very, very good 1-1. Maybe went a bit too fast, too early there. Casterman, Mendieta. If anybody's going to win it, it's probably going to be him. He's been the best player by a country mile tonight. 83 minutes. Are we going to go on for our third 1-1 of the game tonight? Milewski, Zane, Amoroso goes offside. Vrede, Walker, Nakata. Volodenko with a tactical foul there. Shevchenko standing over the free kick. Lizarazu, Rivaldo. Lizarazu, Walker. What a save from Mandrigan, knowing that Casillas is putting pressure on him. Mendieta, what a 1-1 this is turning into. Don't know if it's just because Rivaldo, Mandrigan is keeping his team in this game. Can anyone steal it? We have the third 1-1. of the night, and I think credit to both managers. The actual game was better than the scoreline indicated, Alf.
Yeah, that was very very even game. Yeah, I don't think either manager will be disappointed with that.
Yeah, Hodgie there, the 8s and 9s actually kind of say, really, really solid. And the same for Horse.
Yeah,
Kieran Dyer, he needs more of that this season. But yeah, I think that was a really enjoyable 1-1. So absolutely fair play, lads. What did we say? Is that game 4 we're on to? Let's just check where we're at. We've done Coast Badgers was ones each. Haggis v Vikings was ones each. Los Santos Kings v Stockington was ones each. And we've got Sancte against Fulchester next. Sancte, who have been really poor for the vast majority of the season. 2 defeats in their last 6 with 2 draws and a win against Vikings on Thursday night. Although they did pull themselves off the bottom of the table for the first time in a while. This is how they go tonight. Georgios Karagunis is a home save favourite, comes into AMC. He's been injured for more or less the full season. Any thoughts on where it went wrong for this Sancte side, who look good on paper, as always?
Before then, Duggan, is Macca in?
Hopkins is in. Hopkins in.
Oh, is he? Oh, just cheers, Macca, anyway, if you see the recording.
Yeah, class. You got the parody there, Alf. Yeah, class. Brilliant. Right. Yeah. Any thoughts, Alf? Sorry, go on.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, another standard formation. Ronaldinho used to be a sloth and was reluctant to let him go, really. I think he's done okay since he went to Saints. So, yeah, and Fulchester doing well, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm just lacking laughing at this, mate. Honestly, Campbell. Honestly, you don't help yourself at all, mate. What time did we start last show? We started at 8:30, mate. We started at 8:30. Fucking shoot us dead for starting at 8:30. And you've got 3 managers, and not one of you could get here for 8 o'clock. Jens's little lad has been spewing for about the last 12 hours, but he still managed to get here. Anyway, we'll focus on the football here, Alf. Fulchester, who have been unbelievable all season. All right. They lost the first game of the season, and I think they're now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that 13? 12 without a defeat. 12 without a defeat. Largely in part due to the form of, not Ronaldo, the form of Iron Robin, who's had 6 goals in 12 and 2 man of the match performances, and also Crespo, who's came back in higher than a goal a game, and also Constantini, who deputised with a goal a game. Absolutely unbelievable. What do you think here?
That's it's the strike force is very, very good, isn't it? Really, I mean, I had Robin for a first season, I think, maybe a couple of seasons ago. He did nothing in his first season at all for me, and in the same position, and yet this time he's brilliant. Can't understand it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Predictions here got to be an away win by a couple, Alf, I reckon, on the form lines. What do you reckon?
2-1 to Fulchester.
2-1 to Fulchester, and we get underway. Inch perfect tackle for Sol Campbell. Dida gets his foot around the ball. Someone almost got lucky with that. Georgiatos, Beckham gets the booking for the foul. I think that was Ronaldinho with a header. Ronaldinho again with another header. Could have taken one of those chances. Sancte are going to regret this. Pressure, and there is Martin Keown with his first ever goal for Sancte, who do put his team 1-0 up. It feels a little bit white and gold, to be fair, Alf, but Crespo looking dangerous from Beckham. Fulchester are always good for a goal from absolutely nowhere. Inzaghi, we're going to regret these chances, I'm telling you now. Beckham's furious with the referee, but he was on a booking. Get him off, ref. Get him off. Georgiatos, Karagunis, Ronaldinho. Are we going to hang on to half time? 4 minutes added on, 42 minutes. Karagunis, Ronaldinho, 2-0 up. Wow. Beckham should be off the pitch. Oh, Sol Campbell injured is going to absolutely bite you in the arse, I think. Got to be Horgan, I think. And we'll see if we can hang on to half time. Half time, wow.
Yeah, brilliant.
That is our best performance all season by an absolute country mile, Alf.
It is, and as I say, Ronaldinho, we do regret letting him go to you, I think, now. And he's proven his worth with him. Yeah, very astute signing.
And just catch up on the chat there. Anything like it was Daft Robin, hasn't it? His PA was about 76. Yeah, his potential ability was absolutely nuts last save. Some big 8s and 9s from the Sanctia boys. Ronaldinho, there were 5 shots, 4 of them on target, and Martin Keown having 2 shots, getting up there for the corners, I think. That's a really unlike Fulchester performance, Alf. Ronaldo, Robin, Crespo, and Beckham all struggling to get involved. Not Beckham, sorry. Serginho all struggling to get involved. What would you be doing if you were the Fulchester boys here to try and kind of turn this around?
Don't think he's got his best side out. I don't think you can do much really. He'd probably go all 60, knowing that he can score goals. He can just go all 60.
You know what's going to happen here, Alf. Constantine's going to come on and get him back into this game, mate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but if did he take off?
I did see Hopkins earlier, but I know he usually starts work around about kind of 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I'm just going to give the Fulchester boys a couple of more minutes, especially with it being against myself. Ronaldo off for Const up top. There we go. And then centralise. Hopkins, just centralise. Robin with the arrow, Hopkins, if you just confirm the arrow. The white players, my wing backs have been really poor all season, Alf, and for some reason tonight, they seem to be kind of keeping Serginho and Beckham, who've been really, really good for Fulchester, keeping them a bit quiet. Hopkins, if you can just confirm that arrow on or off Robin, please, mate, that'd be good. And let me know. Emre for seeing Junior also and swap with Donny. Arrow and Robin, there we go. Thanks, Hopkins, mate. Let me just have a quick look, Alf. No bookings, and we will go. We'll see if Fulchester can get a goal to get back in. It's a penalty. Gattuso Inzaghi scores 3-0 Sancte. Not in my wildest dreams did we see this one coming. And we get to 65 minutes, and we'll jump over to the Fulchester boys. 5 for Gattuso now on a booking. 1 DMC, they're struggling to put the tackles away against Ronaldinho. Conditions-wise, I'm not sure if Hopkins, can't remember if Hopkins kind of believes in fitness, to be fair. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat as well, as is from Hopkins. And I think I'd be stupid, to be fair, to change anything. So I'll take 90 minutes now. We'll hopefully go. And there is Inzaghi again with a brace. This is turning into a rout. Where the fuck has this been all season? I'm telling you. 76 minutes played. Come on, Sancte. 83 minutes played. Inzaghi could have got back-to-back hat-trick. And there is Ndiaye. 5-0 to the Sancte boys. Where has the... Oh, there he is. Of course he is. Of course Maka wasn't going to not score against us. Booking for Ndiaye. Robin goes into the book. And if only that had been for the previous 12 games, to be fair, Alf, I might not be as embarrassing as I am. Ronaldinho with a man of the match performance, goal and assist and a 10. Ndiaye tackling everything that moves. Whisper it quietly, but the comeback might just be on. Over at the Fulchester boys, a couple of 5s in there from big players who really had let him down. Gattuso, Serginho. Well played, Hopkins, mate. Appreciate it. Any thoughts there at full time, Alf?
Yeah, if I was you, I'd print that out and frame it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I was winding Maka up pre-kick-off, kind of saying, "Oh, I'm going to beat you," but I tell you what, there's only been one team that deserved to win that based on form this season. But Inzaghi,
that's another player from Sloss, isn't it? So
who?
Didn't you sign Inzaghi from Sloss as well?
No, Badgers, mate. Badgers.
Didn't you ever? Oh, right, yeah.
We're going to go over to Stanley against Burn. Well played, Macca. Well played, Hopkins. I'm sure, given how shit I've been this season, you'll not begrudge us that in a couple of days' time. So what have we had? We've had ones each Badgers Coast. We've had 1-1 Haggis Vikings. We've had 1-1 Santos Stackington. We've had 5-1 Sanctuary Fulchester, and now we go over to Stanley against Burn. And Stanley, who lost last game against the Badger boys, but actually have been fairly inconsistent for a while now. And tonight, Alf, going against his former manager and his kind of former club where he had a Super League legacy, he's playing AMC.
Yeah, it looks like the game's reset itself tonight with these results. Quite a few against form. So this could be another one against form.
Yeah, absolutely. Fifey just saying it's always been the same. Don't know why people are suddenly taking umbrage. Fifey, mate, what I will absolutely admit is when you were running the league, I gave you shit unnecessarily at times and didn't really appreciate the sheer volume of effort that it takes to run it. Now, having been on this side of it, mate, I absolutely take back any shit I ever gave you for late starts or cancelled shows or deals not being done or anything like that, mate, because I was an absolute dick by saying that, and I absolutely take it back, and that's a big slice of humble pie for me. So we go over to the... Is he going to be bothered about numbers? No, Savage isn't, is he? We go over to Northern Burn, who have been brilliant for a long, long time with a little bit of a dip. But actually this season, I think they're the ones to watch in terms of just chalking away, turning up, getting results, being quiet, doing their business. And interestingly, Tomadira keeping Vincenzo Montella out of the starting 11. 3 goals in 2. What do you make of this Northern Burn side this season, Alf?
Yeah, well, we know he's a grand master at this game, particularly the players he signs. So it's no surprise he's up there again. It's doing well, so leave it as it is.
Yeah, doing well, so leave it as is. Just a quick question, Alf. In terms of this Burn 11, obviously we've seen some absolutely great Northern Burn 11s chase the league and obviously win 2 stars. How would you say this compares to the previous Burn 11s that he's had?
It's not got the star names, but he's got the top players in the key positions. Again, he usually does that. He gets his top players and he gets them in the right positions. I think that's it. That's the key to his success.
Yeah, and just never really changes much, does he? Always very, very solid, always very consistent. Prediction here?
Having said that, with the game as it is tonight, I'll go for a Stanley win.
A Stanley win. Yeah, what the Sanctuary result is kind of made you doubt everything you hold dear. Yeah, I tell you what, mate. Yeah, Stanley are the kind of team I think that have kind of turned up. I think to some of the harder games, and they're right on cue. Rui Costa, who is playing, and there's Temudo, 2 inside 8 minutes. Wow, Rui Costa. The game has went a little bit nuts, and Burn are on the end of it. Simeone has been injured, and we'll see what Savage wants to do. There was an OEK from Savage, and I'm not sure if that was pre or post Rui Costa putting them 1-0 up. I'm guessing here it'll probably be he's a little bit struggling here. Do you think Phil Neville on for Simeone and then Gary Neville into DMC? Do you think?
Probably, yeah. That Rui Costa one's I've never played him there actually on his own. That's
I think last match they played him the MC and he did very little. I think he definitely do bits from MC, Alf. I think Costa will always be a U type of player if I kind of had to predict it.
Yeah, but I've never played on his own actually. Perhaps in a pairing, but not his own. That's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Segal won a 6 from AMC, which was really, really, really predictable. But actually, who cares? Because his team are 3-0 up against one of the pace setters this season. Savage, if you can just let me know what you're going to do here, please, bud. Yeah, Horse has called it. It's a really strange game. We've had 3 goals inside 10 minutes. It's got to be probably Gary Neville into DMC and Phil Neville for him. Phil straight swap. Last build, Alf, do you remember when Phil Neville was kind of ridiculously good for, is it Gazelles he was at? I think he was really, really good for Gazelles.
Yeah. And Phil's had some good days, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And there is Totty or offside. Totti on an offside position. To Madeira, though, could this be a really, really high scoring draw? There'll be some comeback from Northern Burn if they could do this. Scholes, Totti, 2-round. Vaughan's, Lee Young-Pure, who's been a bit of an unsung hero for Northern Burn, can't quite get a goal for his team before half time. Stats really clinical from Stanley. They just took 3 chances out of the 5 and put themselves 3-0 up at half time. Scalco again rocking a 6 from EMC. Temudo Yao Pinto with 8. Over to the Northern Burn boys, keep a 5, and also a Paul Scholes. Is that Paul Scholes 5? Yeah, a Paul Scholes 5, but Tato calls keeper on a 2. I reckon if we had a looked at ratings in about 20 minutes, Tato, you might have been right. As is from Edwards, which just shows you the level of, it either shows you the level of trust that he's got in this team and kind of the resilience that he has, or that he thinks the game's done. But I tend to go towards the former. Alf, what do you reckon?
Yeah, when you get a goal, it gets a 5. It's a real downer, isn't it? Really, we've had a few with them this season, and then the opposition keep usually gets a 9. So that's another thing. So yeah. So
absolutely.
It's going to be difficult now, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, would you be doing anything if you're Stanley here? I mean, that Maxim 6 kind of stands out amongst what is otherwise a really, really good performance.
No, we know he can pop him with a goal any time in the game. We know that. So no, leave it.
Yeah. Both managers go as is, so we will see. You think the next goal is absolutely vital to deciding where this tie goes, if not already. Ortega, who has been really, really good. Mike Duff with a chance. He's probably one of the lesser players that Edwards would have liked that to have fallen to. We do have a free kick for Northern Burn, and I think it is Ariel Ortega who's standing over it. There's his conditions. And there's his match ratings. What would you... Edwards doesn't really want to change it up massively, but you'd probably think a 2 up top's coming here, do you reckon, Alf? Maybe Totti for Scholes for Montella, Ortega in behind with Madeira and Montella?
Yeah, good suggestion. I think that's they have to do that now.
We'll just show the Stanley boys. Show the Stanley boys. Sorry, Alf, mate. We'll show the Stanley boys where they're at with some 8s and 9s. A little bit sketchy with the kind of defenders and DMCs, so maybe there is half a chance for Burn to get back into this if they do get 1. Vesterveld on debut, keeping a clean sheet so far.
Yeah.
And Rob urging Edwards to go 3 up top. Urging him to go 3 up top. Do it. I think that's the most un-Edwards-like move that we would ever see. Would you reckon, Al?
Well, I thought Rob would have said that. Is he in the chat?
Yeah, no, he is. He's just basically saying go 3 up Edwards.
Yeah.
Trying to put him into going 3 up top.
Yeah. I can see another of you do that.
Yeah. I think the only time I've ever seen Edwards do anything even remotely mental is when I think he went down to 9 men and he had to kind of play this weird kind of like strange narrow thing. Segalco goes up top, so it is Savage that goes 3 up top. And there are a couple of changes from Edwards, so I'm just going to kind of make sure I get this right. Keane off for Junior, Pure in the Keane role, Youngberg on for Fiore, little arrows on MCs. That's all, please, Duggan. Thank you, Edwards. That was really, really concise, mate. Can Northern Burn get back into this, Alf?
That's very unusual, those changes for Ian. So, yeah, we'll have to see, but it looks difficult now.
Yeah, we'll see. Carlos and Segalco, Temudo rather. Who needs Maxim? They're 4-0 up. These last 2 games, Segalco misses a Buffon parry. These last 2 games, there is Madeira 4-1. This is ridiculously similar to Fulchester Sancte, mate. The game's just decided there's going to be goals after a spate of ones each, I think. Can Stanley get a 5th? Temudo searching for a hat-trick, but not to be. And that is a... I don't think Savage and Ross would have been expecting that at all. Northern Burn not able to put chances on target. What's your thoughts there at full time, Alf?
It looks so the game's reset and all the attributes have been changed.
Yeah, a bit of Phoenix twisting. For anybody that thinks that might be the case, Horse has got regular access to the save where he can screen it at any point, by the way, just to kind of get it out there after the madness of last season. Yao Pinto getting the man of the match with 2 assists, and it's really, really solid from front to back for Stanley. And I think there might be a little bit of either one, I can't quite tell out of Ross and Savage, who is kind of, said Pinto, but I reckon one of them have said to the other, we need to get him in. The other one maybe hasn't been that keen. And then it's like, yeah, look, Pinto is absolutely bossing it. So Savage, Ross, if you let us know who kind of takes the credit there for the Pinto shout, that would be really, really good. Edward's saying, gracious as always, saying, well played, Mike. Really pleased I brought you into the league after that performance. Northern Burn just kind of didn't turn up tonight, which actually, after a season with 13 game weeks of being really, really good, Edwards probably just moves on from that.
Yeah, it looked a tired performance, that. They had a good run and they looked a bit tired, a bit leggy tonight.
It can happen that corner teams go on like a really good run and then just get a little bit of a spanner in the works. Yeah. What did we say we would do in second to last? Oh, this one I think, Alf, is going to be game of the night. So, Smuts, Fifey, really, 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 really good mates in the real world, and have had a beer on Friday night. I think Fifey, Smuts, keep us updated if this is wrong. They've had a beer and have kind of said to each other, right, fuck it, let's let's go for it. Let's both go one at the back, three up top. And this is Fifey's offering. I think this screams Alf Bridge. Alf, what do you reckon?
Well, I've never done the arrows. I've never done the arrows like that one, the straight arrows across. No. The formation, yeah, it's more like a rock formation, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it does, yeah. We've got Veron in MC. He's been really, really good from DMC. Tato said the other night. Imar into AMC. Hasn't really had much game time, I don't think, has Imar since coming in. And we'll be interested to see how this goes. This is really interesting. I don't know if Fifey's willing to kind of say in the chat, but obviously we know Smuts' two best players are probably Z Roberto and Emerton. I wonder if these two lines out to FL and FR are kind of trying to counteract that a little bit. Savage again saying the AI loves those arrows moving out wide from SC. Never anything I've done personally, but I think this is game of the night because I think it presents the most talking points, to be fair. Smuts was asking Swanee what the record is for the biggest ever defeat or most in the number of goals. So he's expecting goals. Yeah, he does keep getting injured, and I think he's had a red as well. Fifey, I'm not sure. What's your thoughts on this Fossey Road team, Alf?
He has no midfield as such, and Fifey's got three in there, and they're three good players. And it could be overwhelming in midfield here.
Yeah, I think that's good tactical analysis. Tato just seen revolutionary discovery that isn't being utilised is Veron at DMC. Yeah, I think credit where it's due. I think for the majority of the league now, given how good he's been for Fifey in that role, I reckon Veron is at DMC now in Super League. Jens just saying the arrows can take the man mark and CBs away from the central SC, but that would be when he faced two. Greavesy did me over probably, I'm going to say maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago now, when he kind of knew I had man marking on, and he and that was potentially a bit naive back then. But he did those arrows 3 up top, and he absolutely smashed us. I think it was about 4 or 5, maybe even 6. Let's go. And it is Tristan early doors, but there's a linesman's flag is up and somebody's offside. Let's have goals. Come on. What I think is really interesting, Alf, is for all the agreement to do one at the back, 3 up top, Smuts has kind of made sure that Roberto and Everton, 2 of the best wing backs on the game, are playing in the right position. What do you think about
that? Yeah, that's correct.
Who out of these two sides finishes higher, Alf, do you think?
Probably Foss. I should think. Yeah.
Any reason?
They're probably a bit more consistent. I think they would be.
Yeah, and remember, Smuts has always been saying this is a season 2 side he's building. So that's really, really interesting. I'm going to guess it's Daniels. Yeah, good lad. Thank you very much. Interestingly, Rocky Santa Cruz, Alpha, I don't know if you've seen that. He scored tonight at the age of 42. I think he's playing in some kind of like Philippine league or something, but he scored tonight at the age of 42. And we do get a half time. Any thoughts? Alf?
Not a lot in this game. It wouldn't surprise me if Fifey came back in this one. Not a lot in it.
How many offsides did it say there were? I'm always interested. Yeah, so a hell of a lot of offsides with a 3 up top. Over to the Exiles, some 8s, some 6s, and some 7s.
Not bad. It's not bad at all. So
Gravison.
Yeah, keep faith, Fifey. You can get back in this. Looking at those.
New horse would know. Rocky Santa Cruz back in Paraguay, 42, and I think he scored this weekend. So we'll just jump back over to the Fosse Road boys and see if they're making any changes. Patrick Vieira, as you'd expect, with a 9. Alf, interestingly, out of Vieira, Davids, Keane, and Dyer, and Scally, who do you think is the best DMC out of those 5? Oh, Jeremy's actually. Take Scally out and put Jeremy's in. Jeremy's, Keane, Davids, Vieira, and Dye.
I don't think I've ever had Scally in a team of mine, so I'm not sure. But Keane, problem with Keane is his sendings off, but that's with lenient referees this season, that might help him.
Yeah, both are going to 60 minutes. Both are going to 60 minutes, 53 minutes, 56 minutes played. I'm all with a fierce chance getting in there, only making his 7th appearance of the season. And there is Emil Heskey, who I think actually, Frey had let it slip. I think Fifey's had a little bit of an issue this season with, I think Richard Wright went through a spell where he was constantly letting him slip. And I think Frey's done it a couple of times to him as well. Unicorns are 2-0 up, and this is how they go. Goals from Heskey, putting them 2-0 up, and Saviola chipping in there as well. Tate over the shout saying Desai's better than Scally. Would you have that, Rock? Alf?
Yeah. Heskey's a strange one, isn't he? Nobody rates him. Everybody calls him, and then he does the business.
Yeah. We just go over to Tate saying RIP stream. Is this?
He may have to change these sideways arrows.
Yeah. I don't know what he's meaning. RIP stream. I brought Casillas in just as soon as Margaret got in. Good job. Tato, how could you? We'll just see what Fifey wants to do. What would you be doing here, Alf, if you were Fifey?
I think I'd change those salaries. I'd drop a Larson, perhaps. Who's the sub Viduka? Yeah, he could do a job. But I'd certainly change the front 3.
Yeah, Fifey's just asking to see ratings again. Those are your ratings, and there's your conditions. Yeah, maybe I don't know if they've pre-agreed to not get away from the 3 up top. I don't know if they can change that in game. We'll just jump back over to Fosse Road. I haven't seen anything from Smuts in terms of changes. Just Heskey is the best ski.
As you said about midfield, about DMs there, I mean, Vieira up against 3 in midfield, and he's bossing again, isn't he?
Right, okay. As Tate was just saying it, the stream died for a minute, back on about 58 minutes. Don't think it was just me because I'm streaming boss at the same time. Okay, all right. Sorry, lads. All good now, though. Brilliant. Bishkan for Vieira. Save my red. Rocky Santa Cruz for Franca. There we go. Exiles. Kelme swap with Imar. Oh, hang on. Kelme swap with Imar. Zambrotta for Imar. Do you reckon Imar's one of the ones Fifey gets rid of when he can at the end of the season? Alf, he's been injured or otherwise disappointing for him.
Which ones are those? Sorry,
Imar. I think he's been a bit poor for Fifey this season.
Well, we take him as loss anyway.
And I just missed the swap. Raul and RSC, thank you very much for that, Smuts. I appreciate that. And I'm guessing Fifey, that order there, go Viduka, back to Stuart, Tristan as the 3. Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Cheers, gents. And we go to full time with half an hour to play. Heskey goes into the book. Baron with a free kick. Can Exiles get back into this?
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
Oh,
yes,
no.
they can. Oh, it's disallowed. Oh, and another one disallowed. There's going to be at least 40 or 50 offsides here, I think, by the looks of it. But a shooter hits the crossbar. He's a player that Fifey has really stood by this season when others probably would have given up. Frey snuffs out the pass. Another fine save from Frey. Who's going to be man of the match here, do you reckon, Alf? But a shooter does score. Stands by his manager. Manager stands by him. Another chance, corner kick, 90 minutes played. Can they get a late equaliser? Nick Matullen with a big save. Heskey to the far corner.
Yeah.
And it is Foster who hang on. Alf, what's your thoughts at full time there, mate?
End-to-end game. That was really, I thought it was good to watch that. End-to-end game. Both teams having a go. Fifey might regret now that the front three formation. But, yeah.
29 offsides. It's a bit mad. And Smuts just saying, I think that's his only second away win of the season. And there we go. He might have went one of the back. Go on now, sorry.
Smuts, that's a good performance by Smuts there. Everybody did a job. Yeah, be proud of the lads.
Yes, and Roberto play him in his best position, and that's what he does, especially with no wing backs to kind of do anything about it. Guigo on a 9 for Fifey. Again, he's a player Fifey needs credit for kind of bringing to the league and playing. He does post numbers. They're on with an 8 from MC, but other than that, just
he might regret not starting Viduka there in that game.
Yeah. All right then, Alf. For a very different reason, I'm really looking forward to this tonight. Because of some of the team selections that you've put out tonight. More noticeably, George Costa, who I think has been a bit of a danger for you when you've played him in the past. He's chucked in a couple of 5s, but Jesper Gronkia comes in on the wing. I've seen a little bit from Tato, kind of, maybe he's saying he's not good enough. And then Bobby Petter at MC. Talk us through your team tonight, Alf.
Yeah, with Rob and I, it's a bit of a downer at the moment. So we thought we'd have a change. This is halfway through the season. We'll have a look at a different formation altogether. We'll try some new players, rest some of the better players, and go for wingers rather than wing backs to see if we can score some more goals. It's an experimental team, and a home save did well. But the Super League's different altogether, isn't it? As we know, but it could be a one-off. This we'll see how it goes. Could be a 5-0 to us, 5-0 to them, or 5 apiece.
And what a vote of confidence that is from your manager, Alf. He says, "It's you, Alf. You thought this was a good idea." Already detaching himself from you, but I'm sure if you get the win, you'll lucky at the end of it from him. Interestingly, Mpenza's been pretty good for you since coming in, 4 in 6 with a man of the match performance. Goals for Trezeguet.
Yeah, well,
a little bit, Alf.
We thought we'd bring in 2 wingers this time. De Pedro, he's a good. I think you'll find if you look at his attributes, he's a very crosser of the ball. So we're hoping we can get some supply in there. Yeah, I think he might be 20.
Where is he?
Crossing.
There we go. Set pieces are 20 and crossing's definitely up there in the 18.
So we're thinking that we might have some creativity in there, but it could all go pear-shaped because we're not in any sort of form.
We go over to the Dudley Hill boys, who again, like a couple of teams down the bottom have struggled for a while, but actually put 3 wins back to back, and then got beat by Stanley, but again rocked up with a massive win against East Coast the other night. And Stee is one of those sides clawing himself back into the playoff equation. Certainly, if he was to win tonight, he would drag you into that bottom third, I think, and elevate himself above. It would have put him above you. Let's just check. Yes, it would. It would put him above you, and based on results tonight, would put him a point away from the dotted line. So talk to me about this Dudley Hill side and where you think the danger lies.
Then again, he's back to a standard formation there. Pretty solid all round, really. It'd be interesting to see how the both teams having wingers who'll come out the best in this game. But quite solid.
I won't ask you to predict your own game, Alf.
Well, I have said it. 5-0 either way or 5 apiece.
I will wish you the very best of luck as we get game week 14 into the final game to draw it to its conclusion. And Penza has an early chance early doors, but I think that was a last-ditch tackle. 22 minutes played. It feels very, very slots heavy. But here come Dudley Hill going into the game as Conte delivers a ball into the box with another chance. Somebody shoots hard and low. I think it was Joe Cole, but couldn't quite get it on target. Half an hour played, and now it does feel very, very Dudley. And then right on cue, Joe Cole, who has been very good for Dudley Hill, especially season 1, comes in and puts his side 1-0 up as Stee looks to win 5 of his last 6. 45 minutes, Ronnie Johnson goes into the book. Big chance for De Pedro at the back end of the game, at the back end of the half roller. We get 6 minutes added on time, and Sloths haven't created a thing, Alf, unfortunately, mate. I'll come to you in a second, just with you being live. I'll jump over to Stee. Yellow cards for Comandini and Patasoglu, who are putting themselves a bit with a few fouls. But other than that, very, very solid from Stee, and I can't imagine you'd be doing much there. Alf, where's that went wrong first half?
Well, I said this what happens. You bring in an attacking team, a creative teams, then you don't create any chances at all. Never understand this game, can we?
No, we've only been playing it for 20 years, mate. You know what I mean? We're still not any further forward. No. Are you doing anything at halftime, bud?
No,
staying as is. And Stee goes as is as well. Best of luck for the second half. One goal can change the complexion of the tie, as we've seen tonight in some of those games. But we do race towards 60 minutes. We stop it on 59, so we'll make the changes there. Conditions for Stee, there's nobody under 90%. Very, very fit Dudley Hill side that are rolling at the moment. And Robbie Keane on a 6, so you maybe expect Moquinho, who he does like on a home save, to come in at AMC. We'll just give Stee a chance there. Alfie, you doing anything there, mate?
Who have we got? Zidane. We know he wants Luis Enrique. Yeah. Put Luis Enrique on for Edelson.
For Edelson in AMC. Anything else there, mate?
No, leave it. Let's see. Because he can pop up with a goal.
And you're only 1-0 down, to be fair, mate. You're only 1-0 down. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, a goal there is in Penza. That's the person that you want. That's the person that you want getting amongst it. And he does put you level. Maybe the Sloths are going to do what they haven't done in a while, which is, and there is Archie back with his first goal for the Dudley boys. Eleftheropoulos, I think that's the first time I've ever said his name, does manage to hold on to it. And the last 10 minutes go without. I thought you were going to nick it there, Alf. What's your thoughts there, mate?
But that's, I mean, you could play defensive formation and get that, but we played an attacking one and creative one. And we had, the passing was quite good, but it was going nowhere, was it?
Yeah, unlucky, mate. George Costa actually does put an 8 in, not a 5. I tell you what's bizarre about that. You've created nothing, but the ratings don't look anywhere near as bad as you'd think for a one shot on target.
No, they don't. It's it just needs some tweaking, perhaps. I'm not sure if did the wingers do a job. I'm not quite sure there. Bobby Petty got 7.
Pedro, no shots. I think it's probably, you're probably right, mate. I think it's probably your wingers. The fact that Impenza put his only shot on target away, the only shot of the game that you had on target, and Trezeguet was quiet. Over to Dudley. Credit to Dudley. That's now 4 wins in. Is it 4 wins in 5 or 5 wins in 6? One of the two. But he's definitely pulling himself back into the playoff equation with a Joey Cole man of the match performance as that lone C. That does bring us to the classifieds tonight, Alf. We saw East Coast, Cosmos and the Badgers draw 1s each. Ferguson with a late goal. Rossini having put his Badgers side 1-0 up at just after the break. And Badgers looked solid once they went 1-0 ahead. So both teams would take a draw, I think. The one at the back 3 up top experimental derby was a Ziriberto man of the match with goals from Heskey and Saviola for the away side, only getting their second win of the season away from home. Gabriel Batistuta with a late consolation goal for the Exiles. Vikings against Haggis. Vikings came in late with a Brozek goal. Jens switched to 1 AMC, 2 strikers up top, and did look the better team once he'd done that on 60 minutes. An important point from Vikings as they try and stay involved at the bottom end of the table. Los Santos Stackinson 1-1 probably doesn't pay credit to how exciting that game was. Dyer and Rivaldo with goals. Mendieta ran the show, but actually it was a really, really good value game. Sancte winning 5-1 against Fulchester, having beat Vikings 3-0 on Thursday night as they look to build some momentum. Inzaghi now with 5 goals inside 2 games. Ronaldinho again with another contribution there. You'd suspect the Fulchester train will absolutely still roll on. We've just seen Dudley Hill pull themselves above slots and be right into that playoff equation with goals from Archie Back and Joe Cole, despite Nimpenza shot putting away his only shot and the team's only shot on target, and Stanley again with another standout game of the evening with doubles from Rui Costa and Temudo, and Sigalko again doesn't really get involved in the goals, but he'll not matter because that is a stellar home win there tonight. Dimble, class. I love it. We have got the table looking like this. Haggis are still 2 points ahead. Actually, they stretch their lead by a point, given Fulchester being beat by Sancte on 30 points. Fulchester on 28 points. Burn on 26. Badgers on 23. Fossey on 20. Cosmos on 20. Dudley on 19. Stanley on 18. Sloths on 17. Sancte on 15. Stackington on 15. Exiles on 14. Vikings on 13. And Los Santos in 14th on 12 points. In terms of player stats, Crespo still leading the average ratings. Top scorers in the league, Vieri, Impenza and Van Nistelrooy and Pippo are the top 4. In terms of assists, Roberto doing what he does best with another one added tonight. Giggs has been quiet for a couple of weeks. In terms of tackles per game, Bugsy, Elias, Jeremies and Keane, the ones that you'd expect to be up the top there. Dribbles, Giggs and Ortega, who've been the standout wingers, I think, all season, to be honest with you. And there we have it. Alf, anything from you?
No. Disappointing night for Sloss, and I think back to the drawing board. It's Rob's called next time out, and I know he's got some plans of his own. But yeah, a couple of great performances from yourself, it's a strange night really, but some very good games, and well done to everybody.
Yeah, and fixtures for Thursday night, which will be with Dimble. I think Co-Coms is available genuinely, so do get in touch with him. East Coast Cosmos against Fulchester. What would be the permutations there if Cosmos were to beat Fulchester? I mean, Fulchester are still miles ahead. We got Fossey against Dudley, Los Santos against Haggis, 14th against First, Burn against Badgers, Sancte against Exiles, Sloths against Vikings, Stanley against Stackington. Tato already dreading the Burn backlash from that 4-1 defeat. Any parting comments from you, Alf, mate? Thank you so much for your company tonight, mate. You're a gentleman, as always. Really do appreciate your time. Any last thoughts? I'll let you close the show.
Right. Yeah, I would say, Doug, that the from after from 5th place downwards, it's still wide open for the playoffs. 4th place, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think the Fossey. Yeah, Dudley have really put themselves in the mix.
Yeah. Well, 6 points is nothing really, and a couple of wins for the team, and they're up there towards the playoffs. So, yeah, it's the top 2 faltered though, and that's it's a strange really. Top 3 faltered really. Yeah. So it shows that anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Very rarely that Haggis, Burn or Fulchester haven't won on the same night this season. Alf, thank you very much for your company, mate. Do wish you and Oldham all the best for the rest of the season. I'll get packs out straight away, lads. Pretty quick haste. I'm not aware of any transfer deals that have been agreed over the last week, so do give me a shout if I've missed that. And have a good week to all of you. Alf, thank you, mate. Good night.
Thank you. Right.